Welcome to week 1 of Sniper Bootcamp. I'm Sniper Anonymous, and I'll be your instructor along your journey to becoming a sniper trader. A friendly reminder that there will be a 20-question test at the end of these videos, so make sure you're paying attention and taking notes on every single video. Don't skip any information because it may be on the test. Remember, you have to pass that test in order to get into the sniper gang and get access to one-on-one mentorship from myself. All right, so I named this lesson the red pill or the blue pill because learning this strategy, learning these concepts, is very similar to being unplugged from the matrix. See, most people, by the time they get to me, have already been introduced to a lot of different retail strategies. You know, you've learned about trend lines, you've learned about different candlestick patterns, you've learned about different indicators and things, all of these different retail strategies. And obviously they haven't worked because you're still looking for a strategy. You're looking for more, right? And that's exactly what you're going to find in Snipers Anonymous. We're going to teach you a concept, teach you a strategy that is going to allow you to not need me, right? This is not somewhere where I'm giving out signals, right? I'm not hand feeding you. I'm teaching people how to be able to go out and hunt for themselves, how to be able to provide food for yourselves so you don't have to be dependent on signals. And this strategy, if you learn it, you're going to find out that you don't need to trade a lot. It's going to help you with accuracy. It's going to help you with your emotions. It's just a lot of different things that go into learning the strategy that's so much more than just the strategy itself. Right? It's really going to help you grow as a person. It's going to help you grow as a trader. So I encourage you to listen to everything throughout all of these videos. Don't skip through anything. Make sure you're taking notes. And there will be a 20-question test at the end of all of this. I'm so serious about the type of students that I'm ready to mentor and bring up as future 6- and 7-figure traders. I'm so serious about that I've created a process of elimination. There is a 20-question test at the end of the boot camp. So again, make sure you pay attention to everything because you're going to need to pass that test to even get into the sniper gang and get access to personal mentorship from me. So let's go ahead and get into the lesson. By the end of this video, you should understand why 95% of traders fail, what or who actually causes the market to move. And we're going to talk about the importance of unlearning retail strategies. You're going to learn about smart money concepts, time and price theory, then the importance of trading one pair, and then the importance of not focusing on the money. So let's talk about why 95% of traders fail. So when we talk about this stat, it can be intimidating. You either hear this and you say, wow, trading must really be hard, or you say, I'm not the 95%, right? And this is the type of student that I'm looking for. Those with the attitude that when they seen this stat, it wasn't, okay, this is intimidating. No, I'm not the 95%. I believe that trading works. I believe that I have the ability to do what it is that I need to do to be successful. These are the students that I'm looking for. So why 95% of traders fail? I could say so many things. There's so many different variables to go into why somebody would quit trading. But every single variable all traces back to one root. And that is 95% of traders fail because 95% of traders quit, right? You only fail when you quit. Write that down. You only fail when you quit. As long as you're in the act of doing or pursuing a goal, you are not a failure. You are actually a success. So 95% of traders fail simply because they quit. So what, or better question, who moves the markets? A common misconception that most new traders have is their actual perspective of the market. Because as a retail trader, you're taught about trend lines, you're taught about support and resistance, you're taught about different candlestick patterns. You'll start to believe that the market moves because of these things that you've learned, because of these patterns. Because you drew a trend, you see a trend line, the market comes down and it bounces off the trend and you buy because of that. You have a misconception of why the market moves, right? You always want to keep in mind that there's always somebody else on the other side of the trade. And there are people and entities with a lot more money than the retail trading crowd combined who have the ability to move the market. They have the ability to paint pictures and create these things that you see, right? So it is very important for learning the concept and understanding the concept of this strategy. In order to be successful at this, you have to change the way that you look at the market. We look at the market as if there is someone else on the other side of the trade that has more power than we do, and they have objectives, right? They have intentions on what they're doing, and their intention is for you not to make money. Their intention is to clear stop losses. Their intention is to make you sell your orders, right? So understand that it's very important to look at the market in this way. Start to adjust your perception and your perspective of the market. This strategy is going to come a lot easier to you. Trust me. All right. So who are these entities that I speak about who supposedly are on the other side of the trade and have the capital to move the markets? So one, we have central banks. All right. Central banks are a big part of the foreign exchange market. They play a big role in the direction of things. Central banks are, for United States, Federal Reserve. That's our central bank. And for Europe, you have the ECB. They control things like monetary policy, interest rates, right? Things like that, things that are big movers for the market. Then you have commercial banks. So your JP Chase, Barclays, Bank of America, these are big players in the foreign exchange market, and they actually own a large percentage of it, which we'll get to in a second. Then you have your hedge funds, right, who also have power to move the market and manipulate the markets. And then you have the market maker brokerages. These are the brokerages that have a conflict of interest, right? They have a reason to manipulate the market. You want to definitely check into whatever brokerage you're using and make sure that it's an ECN brokerage and not a market maker brokerage. An important fact that you need to know is that interest rates are the primary drivers of the foreign exchange market, meaning whenever there's a change in interest rates, that's going to affect the market immediately, and it could affect it long term. So understand that interest rates are very important. So when looking through news, anything that has anything to do with interest rates is going to provide volatility to the market. Next, you have unemployment rates, speeches, retail sales, consumer spending. These are all other news releases that could affect the market and cause the market to move. And the biggest thing that you need to know is that interest rates are controlled by the central bank. So anytime you get a chance to see, these speeches and these meetings for the Federal Reserve, for the ECB, when Christine Lagarde is speaking, right, you want to be listening to the things that they're saying, because it could be affecting the long-term directional bias of whatever it is that you're trading. So on the left, I have a list of the top 10 Forex market participants. And if you can see, on there, we have Citibank, we have Barclays Capital, we have the Deutsche Bank, Morgan Stanley, JP Morgan, right? These are commercial banks, and they control over 70% of the entire foreign exchange market. What does that mean? Why am I talking about this? Why am I saying this over and over and over again? Because remember, to understand these concepts to this strategy, you have to be aware that there is somebody else on the other side of the trade at all times, and they have the power to move the market, and they have the power to paint what it is they want you to see. Now, we also want to pay attention to who's participating in the market, and it's important for us to know that the Federal Reserve controls interest rates, because remember, we want to pay attention to the changes in interest rate for long-term directional bias. All right, so let's talk about unlearning the retail strategies. So sometimes being introduced to information outside of what our normal truth was, what can happen is a denial or rejection of the information. And I just want to, forewarn you guys and give you guys a heads up that even without you noticing it, you may reject some of this information because it's outside of what your normal truth is. So what you're going to have to do is really empty your cup. You're going to have to empty your cup as far as what you believed you knew about trading. Scratch all of it. We're going to have to let go of all the retail concepts. We're going to have to tear everything down and rebuild your frame of thinking. This is literally going to rewire the way that you look at the markets. And I'm not here to argue with anybody about these certain strategies work with this. And so you're going to have to let go of your ego. You're going to have to let go of everything that you learn and be open to these new concepts that we're going to be going over and that I'm going to be teaching you. Now, think about it. Think about this. Have you ever had your stop loss hit and then the market turns around and goes the way that you intended it to go? How many times has that happened to you? How many times have you sat there and thought, after getting knocked out of a trade, that the broker is in on this? The broker can see my stop loss, right? It's true. Like I said, they have access to the information that we don't have access to, and they are able to see where the liquidity is resting, where a majority of the orders are at. And because of this, they take advantage of these retail trading patterns. All right. They know all of this stuff is flooded on YouTube. It's flooded. You can get it for free everywhere, right? It's a reason why this stuff is free. It's a reason why they're teaching everybody these same retail concepts and why you're here, right? Going back and forth, feeling like a strategy, it doesn't work. It's not consistent enough. There's a reason for that. The bank is the house, and the house always wins, right? The big banks are the house. House always wins until you identify what it is that you need to be looking for with price action, right? When we get to following the footsteps of these institutions, this is when we can begin to get behind them on trades. Instead of trading against them, we'll be trading with the banks as the banks, right? We'll be looking at retail trading patterns, and we'll see how the banks can take advantage of these different patterns and how we can use it to our advantage to get the best entries. And of course, by now we know who creates these patterns, right? We know who's on the other side of those trades: commercial banks, the central banks, and they have objectives, right? They're going against each other, and they want as little of us as possible on the winning side of these trades. All right. So just remember that the banks do not want you to win. And pretty soon here, you're going to be able to see how we can exploit that. All right, so let's talk about what smart money concepts are. You've probably heard about it. You've been hearing about it on YouTube. You've heard other educators mention it, but a lot of people have a misconception of what smart money concepts are. All right, so first thing you need to know is that smart money concepts is not a strategy. Smart money concepts is not a strategy. It's just a part of a strategy. All right, it's just a way of thinking within a strategy. If you break the word smart money concept down, let's take the word concept, right? The definition of concept is simply an idea. It's just an idea. And then smart money, that's referring to the big banks, the commercial banks, the central banks, the controllers, the people who are playing this game and have the ability, to paint pictures in the market. That is who we refer to as smart money. Now, smart money concepts is the idea that these people are on the other side of the trade. They are moving the market. And the way that we look at the market is as if they have the intentions of taking advantage of retail trading patterns. So smart money concepts is just a way to look at the market. It's just a perspective or a point of view. But in order to utilize this sniper strategy to its full potential, you must look at the market in this way with smart money concepts. Something else you're going to be learning about is time and price theory. And this is very simple. It's just a theory or the belief that if price does this at this time, then at this time is most likely going to do this. That's all time and price theory is. It's just a belief that time and price are correlated. In the way that smart money moves the market, they do it over and over and over again. And when you can identify these patterns, you can start to take advantage of it. All right, let's talk about the importance of trading one pair. This is a concept that it's hard for most people to grasp because most people who get into trading, they come into signals chats. They're taught to look at 3, 4, 5 pairs, and they take multiple trade signals from different pairs. And what this does is it doesn't actually allow you to learn how a market actually moves. These different markets have different personalities. Euro USD doesn't move the same as GBP USD. They each have their own characteristics, as do the other foreign exchange pairs in the market. Now, the first thing that trading one pair is going to help you to not do is overtrade. The key to getting rich, the key to making a lot of money trading is not by placing a whole bunch of trades, right? The more trades you place, it's not going to get you closer to your goal. What you'll actually end up doing is over trading, over analyzing, getting analysis paralysis, and really finding yourself in the same position as where you started, or even worse, with a blown account, or with less money. So trading one pair is going to stop you from over trading, because there are going to be some times that trading your pair isn't going to be suitable, right? It may be in consolidation, and with this strategy, we don't trade consolidation. So there may be times where there's news releases going on, or something that just causes you to stay out of the market. Now, normally you would be able to switch to another pair and just go trade something else. And that doesn't allow you to practice patience, right? Trading one pair also helps you with the development of patience, which is a very important component to becoming a consistent and successful trader. The last reason why it's important to really only trade one pair is because it helps to develop brain algorithms. Your mind is just like a computer, believe it or not. When you're looking at these patterns day in and day out, what's happening is your subconscious mind is picking up these patterns for this particular pair. Like I said, EU doesn't move the same as GU. It moves in a particular way, and it moves this way over and over and over again. It repeats the same patterns and it has the same tendencies. And if you watch long enough, you'll develop what's called trader's intuition. All that really is just your subconscious has built up some data just like a computer does, just like an algorithm, and you'll be able to start predicting what's most likely to happen next just because you focused on one pair. All right, so brain algorithms, that's going to help you develop trader's intuition. And this is the last reason why it's very important to trade just one pair. All right, last but not least, we're going to talk about not focusing on the money. This is the most important topic of this entire video because the need for money affects the psychology and your trading psychology so much. And I don't think people understand how much of a detrimental effect that focusing on the money has on trading results. Everything that I'm talking about, everything that I teach you is based on experience. All right. I want people to get to where I am way faster than I did. And I know that it's possible. All right. And if I can prevent you from going down certain roads, what that's going to do, that's exactly what a mentor is for. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to prevent you from making the same mistakes that I made, so you don't have to waste time going through that trial and error. The biggest thing of this video is going to be what we're talking about right now, and that is adjusting your focus from money to being consistent. All right, and the way that I had to do this personally, I started out trading with a nice amount of money. All right, it was a time where I felt like I knew what I was doing, and I had got in over my head. I jumped in too early, not having enough experience. Right, the market has a tendency to do that. You learn some things, you learn a strategy, and you go on a winning spree. You go on a winning spree, and now you got trading down. You're a master trader, right? Threw some money in there and blew the whole account. And it was money that at the time I couldn't afford to lose. And that wasn't the last time that I blew an account. All right. It happened a few times, and it happened enough that I had to take a seat. And I said, you know what? I need to focus on being consistent, right? Because I understood that trading worked. I believed in it with all my heart. I just knew that I had to get some things with myself together as far as my discipline, as far as the trading psychology, and then making some tweaks to my strategy. But I knew that trading worked. So it all came down to, all right, I need to really get myself in check. How can I do that? And when I came across the sniper strategy, it just made sense. As I started learning it, I seen that the way that the strategy is set up, if you follow it, it's going to force discipline on you, right? It's going to force you to develop good habits. It's going to force you to start looking at the market in a different way. So what I did was I started with a small account, $100, and I grew that account to $1,000 using proper risk management. And I focused on consistency, and it took some time. It took me some time to do that, but I showed myself that I was able to be consistent. See, once you get consistency down, money is just a byproduct of that, right? If you're focusing on trying to get the money and you're not focusing on how you can become more consistent, you're going down the wrong path. Consistency is what produces the money. Once you get consistent, you can go in the market and make as much money as you want. Over time, with the compound effect, grow an account from $1,000 to $10,000, $10,000 to $1,000 or $100,000, right? You get the picture. So it's really about trusting the process and shifting your mindset from money, money, money to consistency, consistency, consistency. How many times can I win in a row? How many times can I follow my risk management? How many times can I be consistent with my trading plan, right? Consistency. Consistency is the focus. Next thing I want to talk about, and I really want to cancel this culture right here, biggest days. No more biggest days. I'm coming into this. We don't celebrate biggest days. We know that with every biggest day, there's also a biggest loss. Okay. When you create a biggest day culture, it creates it really creates this environment where other people are now focused on trying to get the biggest day. And what that's going to cause is a hindrance in trading performance. All right, it's going to cause a hindrance in trading performance. So this is not something that we focus on. This is not something that we celebrate in the Sniper Gang. Here at Snipers Anonymous, we are focused on percentage gains. All right, any professional trader, any professional investor, the kind of language that they use, you can hear it, right? They're talking about percentage gains. They're talking about net profit, being net profit. The goal is to be net profit at the end of the year. From the time that you start trading at the beginning of the year, you want to have made more money than what you started with at the beginning of the year. And here's a crazy number that people probably won't even believe, but 20% is astronomical to a professional trader annually. 20% gain per year is astronomical to professional traders, right? So knowing this and knowing the type of percentage gains that we can get trading in the foreign exchange market, going for 1% a day, right? Going for 1% a day, to some that seems very, very conservative, but it's actually aggressive. And with the power of compounding, the amount of money that you'll be making once you find consistency in your risk management, in your trading, and you grow your accounts, you compound your accounts, the money is going to come in due time. Learn the strategy, take your focus off of the money, put your focus on consistency, get this strategy down, and the money is going to come. All right, that wraps it up for this lesson. Now you should understand why 95% of traders fail, what or who causes the market to move. You should understand why it's important to unlearn retail strategies. You should have an understanding of what smart money concepts are and what time and price theory is. You should understand the importance of only trading one pair. And you should understand why it's important to shift your focus from the money to consistency. If you haven't already, don't forget to grab your Sniper Gang trading journal to help speed up the process of learning the sniper strategy and so that you can start documenting your trades and improving your performance. And don't forget to subscribe to the Sniper Anonymous channel to stay up to date on live analysis and new learning material.